To convert meter squared into centimeter squared, we need a conversion factor. We have 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So if we have 53 meters squared, can we not just 1 meter, 100 centimeters, cancel out the meters, and then go 5,300 centimeters squared? Is that correct? So this is actually incorrect. You can't do it this way. This is wrong. Do not do this. And I'm going to explain to you using this slide why that is wrong. Here is a square that is 1 meter on every side. So the area of this is 1 meter squared because 1 times 1, 1 meter squared. I'll show you again, times 1 meter. Why is it squared? Because if you have 2 meters in the top, the unit ends up being squared. So here's the exact same square, just labeled in centimeters. 100 centimeters here, 100 centimeters there. If you take 100 centimeters, multiply by 100 centimeters, you're going to get 10,000 centimeters squared. So notice that if I had just done the conversion factor here, 1 meter squared, 1 meter is 100 centimeters, then I get 100 centimeters squared. Like, notice how this blue part, this is wrong. This is not correct because the answer I should be getting is 10,000 centimeters squared. So what happened here is that when you're dealing with square meters, you cannot simply cancel out using unit analysis a meter with a meter squared because they're not the same thing. You have 2 meters here and only 1 meter in the bottom, so they don't cancel out. This is not correct. So if I go back here, this is not correct. I cannot cancel these two out. It doesn't work. But what you can do is if you start with 53 meters squared and you want to do 1 meter is 100 centimeters, you can do it again. So notice how there are 2 meters in the top and now there's 2 meters in the bottom. So actually, those 2 meters will cancel out. 1, 2 meters, 1, 2 meters, meters squared. And the units that you're going to end up with in the end are centimeters squared. So if you multiply this, 53 with 4 zeros behind it. In this example, we're asked to convert meters cubed into kilometers cubed. So first we have to have a conversion factor. You have to know that there's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So if we start to work out the unit analysis on this, we have meters cubed. And our conversion factor, we're going to put the meters in the bottom because we want the meters to cancel out with the top. Unfortunately, 1 meter will not cancel out with 1 meter, so you have to do this 3 times, but you don't have to write it out. You could just cube this thing, and then your meters cubed should cancel out with your meters cubed. So when you type this into your calculator, you can type this divided by 1,000 to the power of 3. And if you have a good calculator, it should preserve the bed miss. So divided by 1,000 to the power of 3. And it's giving me 9.24 E negative 04 in my calculator. But we do not write it like that. You should write it times 10 to the negative 4, like so. So the answer is 9.24 times 10 to the negative 4. Actually, this was a mistake because there were only 2 zeros to begin with. So actually, if you punch this in, should be negative 5. There we go. So 4.2 feet squared into inches squared. Let's see. So we started with 4.2 feet. And we're trying to get into inches. So I'm going to put the inches in the bottom and the feet in the top. And if I look this up on my chart, it looks like there's 12 inches in 1 foot. But that's not good enough because this is squared. So you have to do it twice, but you can write it like this if you want, to save you a little bit of time. So you're going to put 4.2 divided by 12 squared. And this ends up being 0.029. Oh, actually, that's not correct. I have to put the feet in the bottom because I want that to cancel out. This is what happens if you do it incorrectly. I need to put the feet in the bottom and the inches in the top. Otherwise, we're going to have problems. So it is multiplication. So I did not check to see whether my units canceled out, which you should always do. There, feet squared, feet squared. So 4.2 times 12 times 12 is 604.8 inches squared. And I know that it's inches squared because that's the unit that's left over. 3.5 yards squared into inches squared. All right, so first I need to get rid of the yards. It would be great if I could take yards directly into inches, but it does not look like I can. So I'm going to take the yards into feet, and then I'm going to take the feet into inches. So let's just check that out. Yards and feet. 1 yard is 3 feet. What about the inches? 1 foot, 12 inches. Now I got to make sure my units cancel out. Now yards and yards squared is not going to cancel out. But if I square it, that should work. Feet squared and 1 foot does not cancel out. But if I square it, should be okay. So the important thing is that if you're typing this in your calculator, because I have canceled out the squared here, it looks like I shouldn't type squared, but really, you have to make sure that you square the 3. If that's what you committed to, that's what's going to happen. So the squared doesn't go away. It cancels out on the foot, but it's still here on the 3, right? And on the 12. So that's where mistakes will be made, just from mistyping things. And it looks like I'm getting inches squared 4, 5, 3, 6. So in this example, we're given a rectangle in imperial units, and we are asked for the area of the rectangle, but we want it in meters squared. So there's many approaches that we could take here. We could convert our length and our width completely into feet. So get rid of the inches. We could go to feet, and then we could calculate the area, and then we could convert it to meters. We could convert everything to inches, calculate the area, and then go to meters. Or we could change everything into meters first, and then calculate the area. So there's 3 possible strategies, and in theory, all of them should work. So the student vote was we're going to do the blue strategy, which is to convert everything to inches and then do the area. So this is not too bad since there are 12 inches in a foot. So the 2 feet, this is going to be, use blue, it's going to be 24 inches plus the 7 inches. So 24 plus 7 is, this entire side should be 31 inches. And then this 1 foot should be 12 inches. So the plan was we convert it to inches, then we calculate the area. So 31 inches times 12 inches is equal to 372 inches squared. So then we can take that and convert it into meters. Now, I wish that there was a convenient conversion factor that would take me directly from inches into meters, but there isn't. It looks like I'm going to have to go inches into feet, and then I'm going to have to go feet into meters. So 12 inches in a foot, and then feet to meters. Where is that? 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. Now I just got to make sure that everything's going to cancel out here, because if this is a square unit, you'd better be squaring this, otherwise your inches squared are not going to cancel out. Same with this one. Now you have feet squared. So these are now going to cancel out. Just be careful. If you decided to apply this squared, when you type this in your calculator, those numbers better be squared as well. So 372 divided by 12 squared, and then times 0.3048 squared. And I'm getting 0.24 meters squared. A 2.5 kilometer stretch of road is to be paved. The road is 14 meters wide and is to be filled to a depth of 8 centimeters. Determine to the nearest cubic meter the volume of material used in paving this road. So I'm going to draw a picture of what's going on here to try and show you what's happening. we have a stretch of road that's 2.5 kilometers long. And the road is 14 meters wide. But then when we fill the pavement, we're trying to fill it like a little box. It has to go to 8 centimeters deep. Okay, so this is 14 meters. And then the depth of this is 8 centimeters. So if you're asked to calculate the volume of something like this, it's essentially a box. So the volume should be the length times the width times the height. Okay, so students pointed out that you can't just multiply them together because they're different units, and that's going to get you in trouble. So the consensus was let's convert them. You can convert them all into kilometers or all into centimeters, all into meters, but most students said let's convert them all into meters. So we're going to convert 2.5 kilometers, and 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So that's 2,500 meters. So 2,500 meters. And then the 8 centimeters, I'm also going to convert to meters. 100 centimeters in a meter. So 8 divided by 100 is 0.08 meters. And now that they're all in meters, then we can multiply them. And it turns out that this is the right choice to convert them to meters because the final answer they wanted in cubic meters. And if we had gone into centimeters, we would have had to do an extra amount of work at the end. But because they're all in meters, life is good. So 2,500 times 0.08 times 14. And we're looking at 2,800 meters cubed. So 3 meter units means that there's going to be meters cubed at the end.